What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Let's get it, man. I'm gonna jump right into it. This is insane, people. Like, some of y'all are taking this loss like with Golovkin, like it's the death of a family member or some shit. Like someone got incarcerated. This is crazy, man. I didn't think it would be all this, but here we go again. Make sure y'all smash the like button. Listen, I like Malignaggi. Very animated. Why you bragging about my side, Pete? You know what I'm saying? Very educated. You know, former fighter. But I disagree with him here. You know, like I said, I typically do thoroughly enjoy Malignaggi's banter and his like insight. Very valuable information. Why you keep bragging about my bro? Why you bragging about my? It was sparring. Conor McGregor, you lying. That's how when him and Conor were sparring and shit. He was animated. I disagree with him. He did an interview and he's saying Triple G was robbed. But like, here's my thing. And this is, like I said, this is not a shot at Paulie or anybody. But why you bragging about my site? No, I'm just playing. My thing is this. In the interview where he's saying, yeah, I do think Triple G was robbed. Second time he got robbed, right? He also said in the interview that he could see it being scored a draw, you know, but no way Canelo got more than 6 rounds. So my thought process is very simple. The term robbery, if you think this could have been a draw, too much. There's no one that has been able to make sense of that. If you think a fight could have been scored 6-6 in a 12-round championship fight, then to say it was a robbery is asinine to me. Because one judge, if I'm not mistaken, scored the fight 7 rounds to 5. 7 rounds to 5. Or 2, excuse me. I think 2 judges scored it 7 rounds to 5. Right? So, off top, this doesn't sound right from Malignaggi, what he's saying. Because if you said you had Golovkin winning 7-5, but you can see a draw at 6-6, 2 judges had it very slightly different than you. They seen it an extra round for Canelo. And to think that that is like above all realms of possibility, that doesn't even make sense to call something like that a robbery. See, again, I don't know where you guys from. You know, I'm a West Coast dude. Paulie's from the East Coast. I don't know where everybody resides or where everyone's from. But where I'm from, I really feel like a robbery, it means just that. Like, you look at Jesse James, you know, and the Outlaws. They would rob trains. Like, that means they would go on the train, you know, handkerchiefs up, and have guns, you know, pistol whip you and take cargo off of the train. That's a robbery, you know? So as it relates to boxing, I feel like a robbery would be more reserved for a guy winning a fight and he absolutely did nothing to win the fight, you know? Or there's no way, like, if somebody won, in your book, 2 or 3 rounds, and then in a 12-round fight, they say, hey, this guy's the victor. That's a robbery because you know he won no more than 2 rounds, you know, something like that. But to me, that doesn't even make sense that you could fix your lips to say a draw could suffice, but you had it 7-5, but you could understand a draw, but no way Canelo won an extra round. You know, shout out to the BX, man. That doesn't, you know, that just doesn't make sense. And it sounds like, I don't know. I don't know what the deal is with this particular fight, but people are taking this. Okay, now we're talking. Sweet Pea, Pernell Whitaker versus Julio Cesar Chavez in Texas. That's a robbery. You know, Lennox Lewis, Evander Holyfield. That's a robbery because they said those fights were draws. and there was really it was no draw. You know, one person decisively won, but they gave it to, you know, they said it was even. Those are robberies. You know, actually, Paulie knows a thing about robberies, because when he fought Juan Diaz in Texas, Juan Diaz, Baby Bull, is from Texas, and then he flipped out. He was like, I can't get a fair shake in Texas, blah, blah, blah. That was a robbery, because he probably did beat Juan Diaz. So for him to say that this was a robbery, I totally disagree. You know, doesn't take away from me liking the guy, you know, but I disagree, you know. Roy Jones was robbed in the Olympics in Seoul, Korea. That's absolutely fact. Floyd Mayweather was robbed in the Olympics. That's what I'm saying, you know. And I really notice this. A lot of the people who are saying it's a robbery picked Golovkin to win. And then when it was a close fight and it didn't go in line with their prediction, now all of a sudden it's this massive robbery. And, you know, I don't see it, you know. I really don't, with all the conspiracies, and I just don't see it. Vanes Martirosyan did the same thing. Before the fight, Vanes Martirosyan is on wax, on record, and he said Canelo, if he stands toe-to-toe, I have firsthand experience, Canelo's getting knocked the fuck out. He says if Canelo stands and trades with Triple G, he's getting knocked smooth out. And then Canelo did what you told him not to do, and he never got knocked out. He didn't even get knocked down. You know, and then after he said, Vanes Martirosyan said, oh, I watched it again and Triple G really won, but I'm okay with the draw. Do you guys notice a pattern? Why are all these people that are saying it's a robbery, saying Triple G won, also adding on the fact that they could understand a draw? Those two statements are like oil and water. It doesn't mix. Because if you honestly, in your heart of all hearts, felt something was a robbery, then you wouldn't say you're okay with it being a draw, because that wouldn't be fair. You know, if I won 11 rounds out of 12 and they said it was a draw, I'd be pissed, because I know I beat someone's ass for 11 rounds. I'm not going to be like, oh, but I'm okay with the draw. I wouldn't be okay with the draw. Why would I want my record blemished with, you know, 5-0-1 when it really wasn't a draw? Makes no sense, you know. And I'm gonna stand by this. And the great thing about me and my channel is consistency. New media, you know. Let me know when the fights Ward Kovalev close, or, you know, like Canelo Triple G, you know, where certain rounds were super pivotal, and where I say in that close fight it's a robbery, you know, when it was that close. You know, it just doesn't make sense. And I was at the fight with Ward Kovalev, and we interviewed, it was me and a bunch of media people, we interviewed Paulie Malignaggi. I'll go watch the tape again, but I'm almost positive he said that Andre Ward won, right? So, obviously see, that's why it seems like it's something personal with his disdain for Canelo or something. Because he had Andre Ward winning, like me and like some other people, but a lot of people had Kovalev winning. So, you could have seen certain rounds, like close rounds for Andre Ward, who you have no problem with, but the person you said was a peg cheat and he's dirty, and if you couldn't tell Canelo's dirty, you're fucking stupid. And now all of a sudden, you know, you're saying that no way in hell Canelo won. I mean, it's just bad, man. It's really bad that people are having a hard time embracing this loss. And the worst part about it for me, I'll watch it again, you know, I'm a fair critic. I didn't even see it being as close as some people were making it out to be. You know, like, I felt like Mikey Garcia. He did an interview with ES News, and he was like, he says, we're watching it and thinking like, you know, Canelo was thoroughly ahead. And then he said, Pita looked online and seen what people were saying, and they were saying Triple G was ahead 4-1 and this and that. And Mikey is like, what the fuck? Or he's like, you know, basically, are we watching the same fight? Like, do we not know what the fuck we're talking about? Like, what's going on? What gives? And that's exactly how I felt and still do, you know, after first viewing. You know, because I, like, from the first time I watched it, again, I haven't went back and watched it. I've seen little pieces, you know, on like YouTube or in like Instagram clips and stuff. But from the first time I watched it, I didn't even think it was like, I didn't think it heated up in terms of like being really competitive up until the 8th round. Like, I'm not even being funny. I'm not hating on Golovkin or whatever the fuck you guys think. I'm not being biased. I was like, damn, Golovkin's looking, you know, wild shitty. I was thinking he was gonna get stopped, you know, real shit. But luckily for him, Canelo got a cut. You know, I think a punch opened up a cut or whatever. Canelo does what he does sometimes, fades and fatigues, and then Triple G showed mad heart and he rallied back. And then that's when it got, you know, competitive. And that was about round 8. I thought it was looking like he was on the verge of getting stopped. Like, he needed something big. Like, so I don't even understand. When I heard the scorecards, I was like, okay, the right person won. You know, one judge having a draw. I wasn't tripping. 2 judges, you know, there was a majority decision. I'm like, cool. But I didn't even expect any of this backlash. See, this is what I'm saying. Like, it really feels like people are factoring the first fight and trying to give, you know, like, mercy points or something because they feel Golovkin was jobbed over, or they didn't want to see him lose his belts because he shouldn't, you know, the first fight shouldn't have been a draw or something. All right, we got a hot seat. Meadows said Canelo won 4 rounds only. All right, what 4 rounds did you give Canelo? You're in the hot seat. I'm not playing games with these dudes no more. You saying Canelo won 4 rounds? Okay. What 4 rounds did Canelo give? Did he get? Meadows. You talking about he won 4 rounds. You sound crazy. What 4 rounds did you give Canelo? These dudes is crazy. That's what I'm saying. Like, they just saying it because it makes them feel good. But we just gonna keep pointing it out. We'll see who can break down what they say. I can break down what I say. Like, you're lucky. You guys are so lucky that YouTube and HBO and all these motherfuckers put all these copyrights on video. So, you know, I've been around YouTube long enough to know the game. So you're lucky I can't watch this fight with y'all and then just like break it down round by round, like where you guys can see on the screen, because it would really be rep. Okay, round 2, 3, 6, and 7. You sound retarded because Ellie. I mean, I don't know. I said Ellie because I think I said retarded. You sound crazy. You said Canelo won 4 rounds. His own trainer's not saying that. His own trainer said that Golovkin, the 12th round was pivotal, and Golovkin gave up the 12th round. So you nowhere in your assessment did you include the 12th round, and his own trainer thought Canelo won the 12th round. So explain yourself out of that. He said, okay, here's one thing. No, I don't care about one thing. Tell me the answer to what I just asked. No, I'm not. Why? Okay. Why is Golovkin's own trainer saying that the pivotal round is in the late rounds, and he was and he needed the 12th round and he gave it off. He took it off. I don't care about stats. If you judge a fight based on CompuBox only, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You know? See, it's funny. This is the funny thing. People say don't judge the fight based on someone's war wounds and the way their face look. But then they also judge a fight based on CompuBox. You see how stupid that is? So you can't judge it. Okay, CompuBox is somebody clicking a little clicker every time a scoring shot land. If you're in a fucked up position, you might have just clicked it and thought that land, but it might have been blocked. So I can't go solely off of CompuBox. You know what I'm saying? You talk about, and Triple G threw a lot of jabs. So, you know, you have to look at what takes precedence, power shots or a jab, you know? So yeah, what if Triple G landed 50 jabs in a round, but Canelo landed 27 shots, but they were power shots? You know what I'm saying? And then a couple jabs in there. You know, why would I give the round? So you don't know what you're talking about. You said you gave, listen. All right. I already gave him strike 1. Here, I'm going to end this boy with 2 strikes. If y'all ready for me to end this man, everybody say hell yeah or finish him.
Finish him.
If y'all are ready for me to end this man, type hell yeah or finish him. These young boys can't beat me. All right. It's man, listen. These dudes, they want to be new media so bad, but they can't. They can't do what we do. Listen, if y'all want me to finish this, man, see, this is how I know people are scoring off of emotion, because every time I ask them to break down the fight and really break it down, they start saying stupid shit. And that's why we got the timestamps on now. So now there's no backtracking or nothing. Before, I didn't have the timestamps on, only on the screen, only on the, the graphic screen. But now we have in the live chat with the replay, we doing it like court. I'm telling y'all, we doing this like court. Now at 10:40 Meadows at 10:42 p.m. This is what you put. Everybody look at 10:42. We got the timestamps now, so now I can find this shit easily. So everybody at 10:42, this is what he put. Look in the comment section right now. Watch how I do him greasy. At 10:42, Mato says he had Golovkin winning the overall fight. I said break it down. He said Canelo only had 4 rounds. I said break it down. And I said, what 4 rounds did you give Canelo? At 10:42, this is what Mato said. He says, I gave Canelo round 2, 3, 6, and 7. Those are the 4 rounds that he gave him, right? Everybody with me. We got the timestamps now. We got timestamps now. If y'all want me to execute this, man, public execution, type, you done fucked up. You done fucked up. So he just listed the 4 rounds he gave Canelo. Everybody type, you done fucked up. You fuck up, right? You said you gave Canelo Alvarez 4 rounds in a 12-round fight. You done fucked up. All right. I'm killing these cats. Timestamps. Let me connect the dots and finish this, man. Meadow said at 10:42, again, look in the comment section. He said the 4 rounds that he gave to Canelo, right? Everybody looking, I just copied and pasted what he put at 10:42. He said he gave Canelo round 2. He said he gave Canelo round 3. He said he gave Canelo round 6. And he said he gave Canelo round 7. Right? That's what he said. He didn't give Canelo any single round after that. Who really believes you that you didn't have any round after that for Canelo? You know what I'm saying? Who really believes this? Canelo didn't win any other round after round what was it? Round 7? And Abel Sanchez even said after round 7 we're losing the fight. So you think he was only referring to we're losing the fight by 1 round? Why would you scream urgency if that to me that indicates a close fight. The way Abel said it, he said we're losing the fight. He didn't say like, oh, it's a close fight. What trainer is going to say that? What trainer is going to tell their corner if they're only losing the fight by 1 round, right? Excuse me. I'm sorry, I'm allergic to y'all bullshit. Okay. Abel sounded genuinely concerned. He said he gave him those rounds, which would be 4 in 7 rounds. That would be 4 rounds to 3. Why would Abel, if he was only losing by 1 round, why would he sound that like desperate and dramatic? Hey, we're losing the fight, bud. If that's a close fight, he said it like they were desperate. So he didn't have Canelo winning only 4 rounds. You know what I'm saying? These dudes be lying. So Canelo didn't do anything beyond round 7 to win a round. That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. You were better off mixing it up and like sprinkling some, again, Abel Sanchez says Golovkin took the 12th round off. So how are you giving him a round that his own trainer didn't give? Get this bum out of here. His name is Matos. Get him out of here. Talking about he ran. Golovkin was breathing hard. He was getting backed up. See, you know, and I told you guys. I said this before the fight. I literally said that. The reason you guys are all shocked because you guys listen to Harold Letterman and HBO, ESPN, how they rate guys. So you feel these guys are invincible. So when you see him getting backed up, you're like, oh, how is this happening? You know, because you guys think they're Superman or some shit. That's why I told you. I said I could see Canelo stopping him, and I think there were points where he was definitely getting to Golovkin. Like if Lomachenko, for example, if he takes another L, you know, I wouldn't even be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised because once again, you guys go off of like promoter talk and what they say to build up their fight. This is the best since Muhammad Ali. All right, Lomachenko's the best since Muhammad Ali. If he gets past Pedraza, which could be, you know, a challenging fight, there's some challenge there. You know, Lomachenko would be the favorite, but there's some challenge there. But if he gets past that, let's see him fight Mikey Garcia, like Bob Arum is saying. You know, no excuses. You got a tune-up coming off for surgery. Let's see you fight Mikey Garcia, because that is not no pushover fight. You know, if Mikey Garcia doesn't move up to 47, block Adam McNarma. He says, "Why do you hate Europeans?" We're not even. Listen. If you want to make it worth my while to even put you in the hot seat, you have to have some substance. Just block him. You know, you're saying something that's not warranted, and you're not using any examples. You know, you're talking about why do you hate Europeans? What have I said negative about Josh Kelly? You know, what? What have I said about Ruslan Provodnikov? What have I said about Dmitry Bivol? What have I said about Artur Beterbiev? You see? These dudes ain't even, it's not even worth my time because I know I don't have to prove nothing. You know? I don't have to prove nothing because the proof is in the pudding. I have not said one, I can't think of any bad thing I've ever said about Dmitry Bivol. You know, because he's up and comer in his career and, you know, he's doing what he's supposed to be doing. He's from Russia. Beterbiev's from Russia. So how is it that I hate it? See, they know it doesn't make sense. You know, because he says, why do you hate Eastern Europeans? Or no, he said, why do you hate Europeans? But I didn't say nothing bad about Tyson Fury. I didn't say nothing bad about Billy Joe Saunders recently. You know, I did say something critical when he ducked Golovkin back in the day, you know, but people forget about that. I didn't say nothing bad about Dmitry Bivol, you know, and the world knows that. So, you know, you guys got to come harder than that. If you ever expect to take Ego's army down or take me down, because the proof is in the pudding. My whole body of work is online. You know, I make money online, so you got to come with correct. I ain't said shit about Dmitry Bivol. See, the thing is, nobody's saying Dmitry Bivol is pound for pound #1, so we could just enjoy his career. But if they started saying that Dmitry Bivol right now is the #1 pound for pound, then you would hear some criticism because I don't agree with that. You know, straight up. You know, the only people who have received criticism are because they're being built up to unrealistic proportions and they haven't accomplished what they've been built up as. Listen, Ego, Roy Jones said Triple G won the boxing fight, but he lost the Mexican fight. What do you think about that? Why do you guys, listen, I don't know what you think. Roy Jones is my favorite fighter of all time. He works for HBO. I don't know why you believe that you guys telling me what another fighter said changes what I think. I don't think anything. That's his opinion. If he put it this way. He said more things about what Triple G coulda or shoulda did better than he has. Triple G looks spectacular. You know, Dante's Boxing Nation just posted some new videos. Shout out to Money Pal the third. He just posted some new videos and I checked out I think 2 of them, and Roy Jones was telling, he was like, you lost the Mexican fight, you know, so I don't, you know, you guys keep asking me what other people think. Roy Jones is saying a lot of the same sentiments that I've said. So, you know, I'm not here to. I'm telling you what I think. You know, you guys keep wanting to ask me what another person would press road thing. I don't care what they're talking about. You know. Dante got a video right now. It says Roy Jones completely shuts down Gennady Golovkin's age excuse. So, you know, it sounds like me and Roy are more on the same page than we aren't, you know. So I don't know if you guys are bringing it up, hoping that because he said something good about Golovkin that's going to change. I don't know.
So you know you don't have a lot of time to waste. You need to go and do this right this time, especially if you fight you toe like you asked him to. Right. You need to go and fix this, right?
But you know something? I never heard anything about his age when he fought James Monterosian.
You're not going to hear about his age. Because they don't want to say that when you're in a tough fight and you ain't looking right.
He said you're not going to hear about his age in Vanes Martirosyan type of fights because they only say that when he's in a tough fight and he ain't looking right.
They're quick to say that when he ain't looking right.
They're quick to say that when he ain't looking right.
He looked good. They said, oh, for 36 he looked good. But since he had a tough time, I don't know, he's looking old enough.
Roy Jones is dropping gems, so it sounds like me and Roy are on the same page. You know, I don't know, you know, and I don't like people. I'm not. This is people who have jobs with HBO and stuff, so he, you know, he might not want to go in. Put it this way: John David Jackson, Sergey Kovalev. When they broke up or whatever, when the partnership ended, you got to uncut John David Jackson. He starts spilling the beans on everything. You know what I'm saying? Because he's no longer tied to that situation. Like, I understand business. If you work for somebody, you work for a company, or you're with somebody, you know, you're not just about to totally go in, you know, you don't want to. If Roy Jones, if HBO fired Roy Jones, I'm sure he would just be super uncut. You know, let's be real. But he has to, you know, he has to be mindful of what he's saying because he doesn't want to come across as a certain way or like not object, you know, whatever. But I guarantee you, if Roy Jones didn't work for HBO, you would hear more uncut, like all the way uncut. You know how it goes. You know, that's like, do you see Anthony Joshua talking bad about DAZN? No, because that's, you know, that's his side, the side he's on. If Tupac had an album and then Snoop dropped Dogfather or something on Death Row and it wasn't his best work, you know, you think Tupac's be like, man, this album sucks. Like, no, that's his stablemate. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you got to take that with a grain of salt. People who have nothing to do with it are agreeing with what I'm saying. You know, a ton of them. Juan Manuel Marquez, he don't work for no fucking HBO. You know, Julio Cesar Chavez, Amir Khan, Andre Ward kind of does, but I don't know if he works with them anymore, really. You know, he's really with ESPN mostly, you know. So, you know, at the end of the day, I don't really care what the next person said anyway. I know what I seen with my own two. You know, you guys are so impressionable. That's all you do is just sit around and listen with the next person. Oh, you know, 46 people on press row had it for Triple G. I don't give a fuck. What does that got to do with me? You know, Harold Letterman had every round for Triple G. That's not what I seen, you know, so to each his own. But I didn't think this is a tough pill to swallow for some of y'all. But a lot of it just stems from shit talking. And you guys said all this shit about CANELO, said he was getting knocked out, said he looked sickly, and hey, look how skinny his neck is and all this shit. Now all of a sudden you got to face the music that you was wrong. Point blank period. I didn't even see this fight, real talk, until round 8, you know, around there. This fight wasn't, you know, it was on the verge of being a blowout. Triple G's lucky for his sake that he even stepped up and that he even had the, you know, the conditioning and the, you know, the heart and the mental fortitude to push out some good rounds after round 8. Other than that, it was on the way to being on the verge of being a blowout. He was looking crazy. He was looking crazy in there, just jabbing. You gonna ask for Mexican style. I'm not doing no hot seat with no Donald. Let these bums wait. You know what I'm saying? They on our time. This Pensacola, we talk tonight. Stop encouraging them because they want to leave stupid shit hoping they're gonna bait me. But that's not how this game works. I'm here to talk about boxing. You know, Triple G was on the verge. You know, if he didn't push out them last few rounds, where, you know, he was on the verge of looking crazy and having a way worse. His face looked crazy. You know, he looked discouraged and unconfident. He didn't look like he had full confidence post-fight. He just walked out. You know, that shows someone's true character. Why did he just walk out like that? He just left. You know what I'm saying? Because he knows he had to face the music. You know, and it's a tough pill to swallow when you let your trainer do all that talking, Mexican style, and he came in there and beat you at your own game. He came in there and beat you at your own game. That's bad. That's like, I'm trying to think of a perfect example. Okay, here, let's say Terrence Crawford. You know how Terrence Crawford is ambidextrous, right? Let's say I had a fighter named Ralph Macchio. You know, I'm just using a random name. My fighter, Ralph Macchio, is fighting Terrence Crawford. And I'm Ralph Macchio's trainer. And I'm like, man, Terrence Crawford, he's weak. The only reason he might do good is because he's ambidextrous and he's just going to switch to southpaw. All he does is switch to southpaw. That's his claim to fame. He's going to switch to southpaw. Why does he, like, why try to trick? Just fight one way, you know? Just fight out. You're a right-hander, fight like a right-hander. Why you got to switch to some different shit? And I spent months saying that Terrence Crawford, all he does is switch to southpaw. Switch to southpaw. Look at Terrence Crawford. He can't fight. He sucks as a right-hander. So he's going to switch to southpaw, right? And then my fighter, Ralph Macchio, gets in there and gets his ass whooped for majority of the fight from the right-hand stance from Terrence Crawford, and he never switches to southpaw. Do you know how crazy that's going to make me look? I spent all this time daring and baiting Terrence Crawford to not go ambidextrous and not switch to southpaw, right? Then he obliges me and shows you that I could beat your fighter without switching to southpaw. And he fights the whole fight from a conventional right-hander stance. And he still wins. Do you know how crazy that makes me sound? I told the whole world that Terrence Crawford was going to use his weapon X, the fact that he's ambidextrous and that he's, you know, arguably better as a southpaw. And like, he wouldn't dare stand in front of Ralph Macchio. He would never stand in Ralph Macchio. And my fighter is a southpaw, so he wouldn't dare stand in front of Ralph Macchio in a right-hander stance because he knows he's going to get clipped. So I look forward to Terrence Crawford switching to southpaw early and staying in the southpaw stance. And then the fight happens. And then he heard all the rumblings. He heard all of the complaints. And he stays as a right-hander just to spite you. And he's lumping you up as a right-hander. That's exactly what happened with Abel Sanchez. You told Canelo, we seen the first fight. We were in the first fight. You ran. You a coward. That's not Mexican style. My fighter is more Mexican style than you. Canelo said, okay, we'll see who's the true Mexican. And then he fights the fight you want, and you still do nothing with him. This, I'm telling you, this is a loss that Golovkin, he might not look the same after this. Just because of that, like, you know, it takes cojones, it takes pure balls to go out there and compete at a high level against, you know, elite level competition, the champion, and go against conventional wisdom and do everything that the other side told you to do and still come out victorious. Triple G might not be the same. This backfired immensely. You know, this is no different than Eddie Hearn trying to damage Wilder's brand and saying nobody knows him and he's ducking Joshua. And then fast forward to the future, nobody's really checking for Joshua Povetkin. And everybody is saying that Joshua ducked Wilder and he ducked 50 million and Wilder's steadily climbing. And now that other side is admitting, just like Abel Sanchez and Golovkin are admitting that Canelo fought Mexican style and all this stuff, and he fought a better fight and made adjustments. That's the same thing. You know, Eddie Hearn and Joshua are admitting that Wilder's profile has grown. And Wilder versus Fury is a good fight. They got to switch sides and admit and bow down and admit that Wilder Fury is a good fight. But a couple months ago, Eddie Hearn was saying that Wilder's fighting Dominic Brazil and his stock is going to go down. What a difference a couple months makes. Same thing with Abel Sanchez got humbled. Now he's all of a sudden, oh yeah, I knew Canelo would fight like this. Well, you sure didn't really have a great game plan for the first 7 rounds if you knew he was going to do that, which leads me to believe you didn't know he was going to do that. You did not, like, you wanted him to do that, but you didn't think he would do it. All right, block Elliot Mantilla. Block him. He says Julio Cesar Chavez greater than Canelo. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about. If you guys have no insightful conversation on this fight, they're not even in the same division. They're not in the same era. One fighter's retired and a commentator and fighting exhibitions. If you don't have anything insightful to add, then you will be removed. It's that simple. You know, what is Chavez Sr. greater than Canelo? What does that have to do with anything? You know? Abel did not know Canelo was going to... You dared him. You dared him to fight that way, and you thought you wanted him to do it, you know? Like, you was hoping Canelo came out angered and, you know, fell into your trap. But that was the game plan from them, obviously. Am I speaking English? Kid Cully says, Boxingego, do you think Canelo walked down Triple G? Do you guys not hear what I'm saying? Like, is the mic working? What do you mean, did he walk him down? Of course he walked him down. That's what I've been saying. Yes, he walked him down. I mean, that's a redundant question. I mean, do you think he walked him down? I mean, my goodness, taking the loss is just crazy. Listen, of course, I mean, that's a given question. Golovkin was on the back foot. Yes, he walked him down. Of course. I mean, was Golovkin pushing forward? Even when Golovkin hurt, see, and some of y'all listen to Lampley and stuff. He was making it like the end was near for Canelo in the 10th round, but in the 10th round, Canelo slipped 14 punches. So what are you talking about? He was like, oh yeah, Canelo, like he's about to get knocked out. But Canelo was still mindful of his defense, slipping and rolling and countering. This is a bad loss for them because psychologically, I think it's gonna do more damage. Everyone's, you know, talking about Golovkin's face. All right, we got a hot seat. These guys, they know so much. Edwin Elliott. Okay, he said that's not walking him down. Okay, so what wasn't? What do you consider? Let's see what he has to say. If you play any games, because I'm not really in the presence of mind to play games. If you don't answer the question or you play any games, you're automatically disqualified. So let's talk boxing. Edwin Elliott, he says that's not walking him down. So what was Canelo doing? See, I'm telling you, these guys just recycle other people's point. They heard Paulie make a point or some shit. So they, in the corner on the ropes. So you just literally copied what you heard Paulie Malignaggi say. You know that, right? So Paulie's interview just came out today, and you're literally stole his talking point and came here. You realize that, right? You think I'm dumb. You notice none of these guys were saying any of this stuff, and then Paulie Malignaggi gives his expertise and his opinion. Now all of a sudden, they're like, oh, that's not walking him down. Why'd you wait till Paul? I've been talking about this since the fight ended. Why would you wait for Paulie Malignaggi? Okay, so I did like 1,000 streams talking about this. So Edwin Elliott, you wait until Paulie Malignaggi just comes out with the Fight Hype interview today to come up with that point. Strike one, because you're a biter. I'm not a biter, I'm a writer for myself and others. I say a big verse, I'm only bigging up my brother. I'm bigging up my borough. I'm big enough to do it, I'm that thorough. Plus I know my own flow is foolish. Come up with your own shit. You know? They wait, that's what I'm saying. It's funny. That's crazy how I could tell exactly where you got the information from, because I watched the interview. So come up with your own shit. How is it not walking someone down when the guy's fighting on the back foot? Whether he's on the ropes or not. How is it not? How are you not walking him down? How are you not walking him down when he's backing up? Ropes or not. Since when is that the standard where if you're not, your back's not on the ropes, you know, you're not getting walked down? Explain how that works. Since you know so much, since you want to copy Paulie, let's hear you break it down. Edwin Elliott, we not done with you. So break it down. I can't wait to hear this. Since you think you Edwin Malignaggi or whoever the fuck you think you are. How is the standard for walking someone down only if they get pushed back to the ropes? Let's hear it. I want to hear. Let's hear you break it down. He was moving forward. Hold on. He was moving forward, but he wasn't throwing a punch of punches. Strike 2. His explanation was he was moving forward, but he wasn't throwing a punch of punches. Said, nah, don't back off the blocks now. He said, why can't we just debate? Yeah, we can't just debate, but you're getting blocked if you lose. You know hot seat rules. You said he wasn't walking him down because he was coming forward, but he wasn't throwing a punch of punches. Strike 2. That makes no fucking sense. This is what happens when you don't think for yourself and you try to steal someone else's point. See, because at least Paulie Malignaggi, I'm sure if I talk to him, he's going to elaborate based on his boxing brain and whatever he feels. So he can hold his own and try to elaborate on the point he made. But you, when you steal somebody's shit and you take somebody's point, you don't know his full thoughts. You just know what he said on YouTube in an interview. Okay. Strike 3. You said he wasn't throwing a bunch of punches. Okay, so what happened to Golovkin's face? Why did Golovkin's face look worse in this fight than in the first fight? You know, that's not how to judge a fight only, but what happened? Why did Golovkin look winded? Why did Golovkin's face look worse in this fight? Worse than the first Canelo fight? Worse than the Jacobs fight? You explain that since he wasn't throwing a bunch of punches. And why did Canelo why did he land more power punches than Golovkin if he wasn't throwing a bunch of punches? And see, now you starting to get walked down because you don't know what you're talking about. So explain that. Explain the anatomy. Golovkin has not had this like Gabe Rosado scar tissue where his face looked like that. His face didn't look like that after Vanes Martirosyan. So if he wasn't throwing a bunch of punches, what accounted for Golovkin taking and seeping deep breaths, sighing, Abel Sanchez saying after round 7, you're losing the fight, Golovkin's face looking like shit at the end of the fight. I just didn't give him all the early rounds like everyone else. Strike 4, get him out of here. Get him out of here. Now you see how they try to cop pleas? We not copping pleas. You got to know what you're talking about. This is like Fight Club. You know what I'm saying? You're not even making sense. First of all, you said he wasn't throwing a lot of punches because you wanted to copy Paulie Malignaggi's talking point. Then you start backing up. Why can't we just debate? Why can't we? We can just debate, but if you don't win, you know the hot seat. You know what I do to y'all in the hot seat. Again, why would the standard be you're not walking someone down unless they're on the ropes? Because sometimes people like Canelo in the first Golovkin fight, he was walking himself back to the ropes. Floyd Mayweather sometimes walks himself back to the ropes. So that can't be the only standard for just because his back was on the ropes. You know, Golovkin could be mindful and he knows he don't have no defense, so he does his best to stay off the ropes and he's strong. So, you know, that doesn't mean you're not if you're backing up, you're getting walked down. You know? Well, why would the standard be if your back's not on the ropes, then you're not getting walked down? Golovkin was struggling to cut off the ring in the first fight, and Canelo would like try to trap him and bait him with counter shots, so he would walk himself back to the ring. You know? So why would Golovkin, that doesn't even make sense. So Golovkin gets credit when Canelo walks himself back to the ropes. So Canelo backs up to the ropes trying to bait Golovkin to come in and and you know, try to catch him with counters. So you give credit to Golovkin as if he did that? Stop it. Stop it. You know, Golovkin was struggling in the first fight to cut off the ring on Canelo because of his defense and counter shots. Canelo willingly walked himself back to the rope, like I've seen Floyd Mayweather do. Okay, like look at Mayweather Pacquiao. Pacquiao hurt Mayweather in round 3 or 4. Floyd comfortably, casually, and calmly went back like this and walked back to the ropes. Pacquiao hit Floyd with like a straight left and he ate it. you know, woke him up, buzzed him or whatever. And Floyd took the liberty of backing up. Pacquiao didn't just keep driving him back and then Mayweather fell back into the ropes or some shit. So what are you guys even talking about? Once again, this is what happens when you take another man or woman's talking points and you don't know what you're talking about. You can't hold up their argument because it's not your argument. He's talking about he didn't throw enough punches, but I'm looking at the pictures and why is his face looking like this? He didn't throw no punches. Okay. Like, again, you don't just judge a fight based on what someone's face looks like. However, this is probably the worst that Golovkin's face looked immediately following a fight. You know? So that had to come from something, you know? That had to come from something. Why is his face looking like this? If Canelo didn't throw nothing. It's looking bad for these dudes, man, because the more desperate they are, the more they get walked down in these debates and hot seat. So his face looked crazy from what? Because Canelo got out jabbed by Golovkin. So what caused Golovkin's face to just bust up? It's not like there was like a clash of heads, like one's a southpaw and they just kept butting heads. So why does his face look all tore up? Damn, looking bad for y'all. Looking real bad. Looking shaky, baby. Like Conceited. Remember when Conceited had the cup and he... That's how I was looking for these haters. You got to make it make sense. And like I said, I'm not throwing shots at Paulie. I really respect Paulie. But he had a lot of negative stuff to say about Canelo. You know, Andre Ward is a true class professional. And he said the same thing. Roy Jones, Andre Ward, and Floyd Mayweather Sr. all said Golovkin was backing up. You know? And I have an interview with Floyd Sr. and he was like, man, Canelo was cheating. So it's not like Floyd Mayweather is just like, he'll tell you what he feels, you know? And he talk shit, I guess you could say, about Canelo. So it's not like he just hates Golovkin and loves Canelo. I got an interview right now where he said that Canelo was like on Pez. Like, man, look at here. So everyone else is saying that he got backed up. His face is saying he got backed up. So, you know, I'm not really worried about the couple people who said that doesn't count as him getting backed up. Golovkin's strong, you know. He knows his way around the ring. He has 350 pro fights. So it's probably extremely hard to back him up into the ropes because he knows he doesn't have a defense. So if he was on the ropes, like, see, now we're getting somewhere. If Golovkin got backed up to the ropes, that's your ass, Mr. Postman, because he doesn't have a defense. So he wouldn't be able to do like Floyd Mayweather against Cotto, Mayweather versus Maidana, or even Canelo versus him in the first fight. So he knows to stay off the ropes. So that's why he'll try to derail it with the jab. Very good jab, but that's why he doesn't go to the ropes, you know, or that's, you know, tries his best to not. And a guy has 350 fights, you know, he knows his way around the ring. But he's still getting walked down by a smaller man. I don't care what anyone says. His face shows you that. You know, because, again, why didn't his face look like that after Willie Monroe? Because nobody had a sustained offensive attack with power to drive him back like he was. That's why his face looked like that, you know? So, I mean, and the real talking about this, it really does. You guys understand it. All you people screaming robbery, it doesn't change his box rec, doesn't change his record, doesn't change that he has no belts, you know? It's really redundant. It's redundant. You can scream, go to the mountaintops, and the robbery, all that. Remember when Rocky went to the mountains, Drago? You can do that, but it's not changing anything. I'm not doing no hot seat with these bums. Unless I see a sound argument, I need competition. And they're not competition right now. They're not saying nothing. You know? All I know is Paulie, like I said, good dude, but he has very strong convictions, especially if he feels you're cheating. You know, look at Pacquiao and Canelo. He's been, like, you know, real adamant. right or wrong. That he's been real adamant. So, you know, he could have lost money. So, you know, I can't look at any one person's opinion. I'm looking at what I've seen in the totality, and I really see more people who agree that it was a close fight, and or say that Canelo won, that are fighters. You know, Mikey Garcia, he said the same thing. Robert Garcia. So, you know, Andre Ward, Floyd Sr., Caleb Plant, Mikey Garcia, Roberto Garcia, right? Amir Khan, Jamal Charlo, Errol Spence, Derek James, right? Juan Manuel Marquez, Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., Miguel Cotto, Marco Antonio Barrera. Like, all of these guys said, Roy Jones, they all said that Canelo was backing him up. ESPN interviewed Triple G in his face and said, oh, he was a lot more aggressive in this fight and he was backing you up. And Triple G didn't say, hey, no, he wasn't. You know, but now Paulie and other people are trying to use this logic. So why didn't Triple G, when ESPN asked him post fight, when he's wearing sunglasses because his face is all jacked up, why didn't he correct ESPN when ESPN said, hey, Canelo came out extremely aggressive and he was backing you up? Why didn't Triple G say, hey, hell no, he wasn't backing me up? Why did he just accept that? Because he knows he was getting backed up. So, you know, this is what happens when you listen to other people. Don't just listen to me, listen to other people too, you know. And a lot of people are saying it. Roy Jones, you know, listen.
Gennady Golovkin, you lose your first fight as a pro. What is the feeling right now?
Going back to home.
Smash the like button, please.
I think he feel different options. I feel it's good, you know, because, you know, my inside I feel I'm champion.
You both gave a great fight. He came forward this time. Were you surprised by anything Canelo did? What did you feel like in the ring in terms of how the fight went?
Not big surprise, you know, I'm ready because, you know, just if he going back, just he lost everything.
He just said he came forward this fight. And he said, no, I feel good. He came forward because if he goes back, he lose the fight. So he's basically telling you he had to come forward to look like that. Listen.
Because, you know, just if he going back.
In terms of how the fight went, what did you feel like? Surprised by anything Canelo? You both gave a great fight. He came forward this time. Were you surprised by anything Canelo did? What did you feel like in the ring in terms of how the fight went?
Not big surprise, you know, I'm ready because, you know, just if he going back, just he lost everything and I'm control. You know, I don't lose control, just I feel, you know, I control all rounds, yeah, just every rounds. And last my rounds, just I feel I win, you know, just the judges not give me point, just this is not my problem. I take my job.
See, he's stumbling over his words and stuff. He just told you. He just told you. So why didn't he, if what you guys are using, I guess, Paulie's logic or whatever, then why didn't he correct the ESPN? He said he came forward most of the fight or the whole fight. Why didn't Triple G correct him? Why didn't Triple G say he wasn't coming forward? He wasn't walking me down. I was fucking him up. Why didn't he say that? All right, we got another hot seat. One by one. Sub ZGLV. Canelo was hurt at least 3 times. All right, how many times was Golovkin hurt? How many times was Golovkin hurt? How many times was Golovkin hurt? You're in the hot seat. Sub ZGLV. How many times... Okay, so you said Golovkin was never hurt to Canelo. These dudes, see, this is too easy, people. So those body shots weren't affecting him. Why was he breathing so heavy? Why did he clutch right down in round 4, tuck his elbows in if he wasn't hurt in round 4? You guys don't know boxing. You know, the people are saying this crazy shit. He's saying he was never hurt. Strike 1. He watch round 4. Why? Like, okay, explain why he was reacting to the body shots like that. If Canelo slaps, that's what he said. Canelo slaps. So why was he clutching his stomach? Why didn't he just walk through that like he did Willie Monroe or somebody? You guys are lying. Then you said Canelo was hurt 3 times. What 3 times? What rounds was it? What rounds was he hurt? Win in round 4. See, you don't know shit about boxing because you automatically, you don't, it doesn't even, you didn't even see it. So you strike 2. Name the 3 times Canelo was hurt, since you know that. Canelo was hurt in round 7, 9, and 10. Who remembers that? 10, okay, maybe he got hurt when that's the round I remember with the big shot. But 7 and 9, what did he do? Like, what was the sequence? What happened? Let me just put the icing on the cake. Boxing, the other thing is this. Getting hurt, there's different severities of being hurt. Amir Khan was hurt by Samuel Vargas, but he just beat him. He got hurt multiple times, but he still won the fight, right? Floyd Mayweather got hurt against Sugar Shane Mosley at least twice in the 2nd round, but he still won the fight. So how in the fuck does getting hurt 2 or 3 times automatically, especially when you're not having 10-8 rounds or getting knocked down, you know, or being, you know, the ropes are holding you up or something, how does that automatically guarantee you a win? Because you got hurt by a power puncher, you ate it and still kept pushing forward. And guess what? They all acknowledge the truth. Okay, acknowledge this truth so we can hurry up and get rid of you. How does getting hurt? I just named Juan Manuel Marquez got knocked down 3 times by Pacquiao in the 1st round and fought to a draw. Okay, so you said, okay, he's a casual. He says because Canelo never hurt Triple G. How did Chris? Okay, I got him. You can't win. So how did Chris Algieri beat Ruslan Provodnikov? Because it didn't look like he ever hurt Ruslan, and Ruslan hurt him at least twice, and his eye was all fucked up. So how did he win? If this is just a tough man contest and all you have to, whoever these representatives are that you guys are sending, they're not making you guys look good at all. I'm not a casual fan, bro. Yes, you are. You're absolutely. Answer the question. How did Chris Algieri beat Ruslan Provodnikov? Because it didn't look like he ever hurt him, but he was outboxing him. Okay, you have one more opportunity to respond to my question. I don't care about these sidebar questions. You're in the hot seat. How did Chris Algieri defeat Ruslan Provodnikov when Ruslan hurt him and he never hurt Ruslan Provodnikov? If you answer anyone else but me, you will be kicked out of the stream. And you're on your last strike, so if it don't make sense, you will be kicked out of the stream. Good luck. How did Chris Algieri beat him? Because Ruslan hurt Chris Algieri multiple times. Because Chris outboxed him. Get him the fuck out of here. You see how stupid these dudes be saying, what they be saying? So what you just said was foolish, because you said Triple G hurt him 3 times, so that means that he won. That don't mean nothing, because he hurt him 3 times, and I don't even know. I can't even confirm those 3 times, you know, because I guess the biggest moment he had was probably round 10. And how do you score unless Canelo was like buckled and like falling over the place? Then, you know, that doesn't mean this shit is crazy. This is crazy. You know, I could understand. It looked like they hurt each other to me, to be honest. But none of them were 10, you know, it wasn't 10-8 rounds for either guy, really. You know, there was no who scored around 10-8. You know what I'm saying? So, like, getting hurt is a part of boxing. That doesn't mean, you know, how did Tim Bradley beat Ruslan Provodnikov? Ruslan hurt him multiple times, and he never knocked Ruslan down. So that's not how you win a fight. You don't just win a fight because I can't hurt this guy. See, this is that Mexican style bullshit that Abel be talking about. This is how some people view the fight. Oh, my guy never got hurt, which is a lie because Triple G was hurt. But even using your logic, you know what I'm saying? My guy never got hurt, so he won because some of the rounds were close. That's not how boxing is scored. You know, boxing is scored on effective aggression, ring generalship, defense, you know. Who had a better defense? We know Canelo in every round had that over Golovkin. So stop it. These dudes is looking so crazy with these arguments. Triple G hurt Canelo 3 times. Okay, so Shane Mosley hurt Mayweather 2 times. Maybe there was a third, I don't know. But I know he hurt him at least 2 times in 1 round. So automatically he wins, even though, you know, Floyd never knocked Shane Mosley down in that fight. So he won because he hurt Mayweather more than. That's stupid. It literally makes no sense. And the reason it's really stupid is because I know Triple G was hurting there. His face was hurt at the end of the fight. And body shots was getting to him. He was breathing super heavy early. Again, this why it doesn't even pay to talk boxing with some people, because I don't know if they've been drunk, maybe, you know, drinking away their sorrows, been drunk since the venue or what. But it's like they don't even. I told him, I said Canelo hurt Triple G in round 4. He was like, when? You don't even know what to look for, you know. You don't even know what to look for. So you only look for the obvious shit. Typical. That man was breathing heavy early. I tell you, boxing is like an acquired taste. Not everyone knows about this sport. So nobody else worked Golovkin like that. Had his face looking all crazy. Had him breathing all crazy. But hey, it is what it is. But all this like whimpering and stuff, it doesn't bring his belts back. So it's really pointless. You can argue till your face turns blue. And once again, it's funny how history repeats itself. It really is. They did the same thing after Andre Ward beat Kovalev in the second time. And I put this message out there, and my point was proven immediately when we found out who Kovalev was fighting in his next 2 fights. Triple G, if you really felt like, as a true fan, if you really think Triple G won the fight, then he should rest up, you know, like all fighters would do after a fight like that, and tell him to jump in the mix with top level competition, because he's already 36, you know. So what do you need to take a tune-up for? If all your fans are supporting you and saying you won and it was bullshit and you got robbed, then you could just continue your career. The only thing that's different is you just don't actually have the belts. But you should be able to hold your head up high and know in your heart of all hearts that you won, and then they robbed you, like the fans are trying to say, and fight Jermall Charlo. Fight Demetrius Andrade, Billy Joe Saunders winner. Fight Derevyanchenko, Danny Jacobs winner. Because after all, you're holding your chin up high because you know they took something from you. You know, I'm not going to say illegally, but they took something from you and it was unwarranted. So just jump right into top level competition. If you can't get Canelo rematch, which from what De La Hoya was saying, he said Triple G needs to regroup. I hope they don't give him the trilogy just to force Triple G to, you know, fight some other people, get some wins in the win column, and then make a trilogy fight. So I can't wait. If he goes in there and fights Toriano Johnson or somebody like that, and Gabe Rosado rematch, or, you know, somebody who hasn't been active, or somebody who, you know, doesn't have any impressive wins at the weight, then that's going to show you. So don't take no tune-ups. You weren't injured. The people say you can't judge a fight based on the face, so, you know, your war wounds are going to heal. Someone said Canelo took a knee. Y'all are idiots. That man slipped. So, you know, I can't wait. I'm really looking forward to it. I can't wait to see Jermall Charlo versus Triple G next. You know, don't fight James Kirkland or somebody. Move him up and wait and all that. Fight Jermall Charlo, Andre Saunders winner. And don't fight Spike O'Sullivan or somebody like that. jump right in there with the big dogs because, you know, you're 36. Keep the career moving. Keep the gravy train rolling. Entertain the fans with good fights, you know, because the only thing missing is, like, your pride shouldn't be dented because you won. Your fans are saying it, you know, so your pride shouldn't be dented. But we know these dudes are full of shit, and I'm talking about the fans. I don't know what Triple G's team's going to do next, but we know the fans are full of shit. They say shit, but we know they don't mean it. Just like Kovalev. Oh, Andre Ward just won because he hit Kovalev in the nuts. Okay, so why is Kovalev taking tune-up style fight after that? Why is he fighting Shabransky, a style that's tailor-made for him, a guy that Sullivan Barrera stopped? Why is he fighting Igor Mikhelkin after? Why is he trying to bounce back like that? If you know you got stopped and it was some bullshit, then you should be able to jump right back. You know, no love lost. You know, you look at, let's say, Felix Diaz versus Lamont Peterson. Close fight. They gave it to Peterson. Felix Diaz, he felt that he got robbed in that fight, that he really won the fight. So he had no problem on at last minute notice fighting Samuel Vasquez and taking his O. You know why? Because his confidence wasn't really dented because he knows the nature of the game. You know, Adrian Granados, he had a close fight with Broner. And then I think he came back. Don't quote me on this, but I think he came back. His next fight might have been someone like Sean Porter because his confidence wasn't ultimately dented because he knows he had a very tough fight with Broner, but he wasn't getting his ass beat like that, you know? So he was able to just jump into top level names. You know what? Let me, because I'm all about efficiency. These boys can't be more efficient than me. Let me look at Granados. This is all off the top of my head. But I covered both of those fights, Sean Porter and Granados, and then also Broner Granados. Bow. Oh my gosh, I'm good. Adrian Granados fought Adrian Granados fought Adrian Broner in February 2017. Later that year in October, he fought Sean Porter. You see, Adrian Granados, and then after that, he fought Javier Fortuna on the Errol Spence undercard. You see, Adrian Granados had no problem stepping up, going from Broner to a guy like Sean Porter, even though there was several months in the middle, like he didn't fight in all those summer months. He had no problem fighting Broner and then fighting Sean Porter at a higher weight than 140 because it was, you know, it was a tight fight with him and Broner. It's not like he lost and was getting fucked up and, you know, knocked around and Broner was just dogging him. It was a very competitive fight. Broner fractured his hand. So he's able to jump back into elite level competition. So let's see what Triple G does. I'm going to leave it at that. Let's see who Triple G fights now. If he retires, then that's going to tell you this fight took something out of him because he wasn't talking about retiring before that. Right? If he fights like a tune-up style fight, then that tells you something. If he fights Canelo next, which I hope doesn't happen, that doesn't tell me nothing because that's a massive payday. I want to see if he fights one of these other young killers, young hungry lions. Since you guys, I'm telling you, you putting the pressure on him. See, I'm okay with him going into a war and then having a tune-up. I'm okay with that. But if the fans are telling me he was robbed, then I don't want to see no tune-up. You know, if the only thing that's different is your belts, your confidence shouldn't be dented because after all, you got robbed and it's the judge's fault. So why take a tune-up? Why do you need a tune-up? Why do you need to build your confidence back? Your confidence shouldn't be gone if you know you won. You get what I'm saying? But just like Kovalev, we'll see. Because Kovalev, he was blaming Ward and Tony Weeks and all this shit. But at the end of the day, we know that's not true because he switched trainers, and he took 2 tune-up style fights. The moment he stepped in with a suitable name, he didn't look the same and he got stopped. You know, so we'll see what Triple G decides to do. But all this, like, you know, it is funny because these dudes are just arguing crazy points. We'll see what happens. You know, you guys can keep crying about it. You know, boxing has to move on. So I'm not saying I won't talk about it anymore, but Triple G, between his face, him walking out post-fight, him sounding uncertain of himself post-fight, talking to ESPN, the way it's being perceived by top-level, elite-level, former, current champions and former fighters and current champions, is going to be, you know, Triple G, the blueprint if you have certain skills, and he's actually in the middleweight division where there's a lot of skilled guys now, you know. it's going to be interesting to see what he does next. Like, for example, Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez. Triple G's team was talking about moving up. So if you do move up and fight him. You're Mexican style, right? ESPN asked Triple G, and they said, hey, Mexican style. He says, yeah, me and Canelo are Mexican style. So you still want to rep this Mexican style shit? That's a great fight. Fight him on Cinco de Mayo weekend. He's called you out several times. Bob Arum said he would make the fight. So let's see that. Let's see Triple G versus Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez. Because after all, you already got robbed of your belts, right? Your confidence shouldn't be dented because it was, it was the judges who robbed you. So now that you have no belts and you've talked about moving up, if you're going to move up, if you're not going to fight Charlo, Saunders, Andrade, you can't get Canelo, you can't get one of those top level fights, then move up and fight Zurdo. He can box, he can bang. You're Mexican style, right? That's a great fight. Man, I'm telling you, I don't know why people don't just listen to some of the shit I be saying. You guys put an enormous amount of pressure on these fighters that you want to back. And I'm telling you, it is what it is. Eric Leon says, great point, Ego. If Triple G has a tune-up, then UK, he has to gain confidence after the Canelo ass whooping. It's the same thing. Kovalev is the same exact way. They say Kovalev, it was a premature stoppage and Ward hit him in the nuts. So that shouldn't dent your confidence if you know it was some bullshit. So what do you need tune-ups for? I can understand tune-up like when Danny Garcia knocked out Amir Khan and he pulled up Carlos Molina from 35 to 140 because he got knocked out. You have to build that back up. Khan getting knocked out by Canelo. I understand why he's fighting Phil LaGreco for his first fight back. Kell Brook losing to Triple G and then losing to Errol Spence by stoppage in both of those fights. I understand why he's fighting Rabchenko his first fight back. But Triple G, you guys are saying he got robbed. Well, some of you. You're saying he got robbed, so he should be able to hold his head up high and jump right back in at age 36. He has more to do with his resume, so he should be able to just jump back in the competition. It's that simple. You guys, by you telling people and trying to say this fake, instead of just giving Canelo his props, you're putting more pressure on Triple G, at an advanced age, because now no one's going to want to see a tune-up because there's no need for a tune-up if you were just robbed and that's the only reason you lost, because that's not a true loss, right? It's just the judges were against you in Vegas. So we'll see. We'll see who he fights next or what he does next. Smash the like button, people. I can't wait. I can't wait to see who Canelo fighting. Because it's not sweet for Canelo, too. He's a champion. He has mandatories, and they're all good. All good mandatories. So it's going to be interesting to see what they both do, to be honest. Yo, we got to get closer to 200 likes. We're at like 125 right now. Smash the like button if you're in here. We just grinding, pumping out these live streams. Anyway, moving on. Joshua Povetkin, another fight. I'm interested to see how that turns out. Joshua's confidence, I don't know where it's at, because Joshua's acting different for this camp. It's like when people break up and they're trying to act like they're all right, but deep down inside they're not all right. That's what it feels like. Like look at Joshua's hair right now. Like he's not cutting his hair or nothing. He's just been hibernating in camp. So we'll see what happens in the Povetkin fight. Maybe that's a good thing for him. I don't know. But I want to know if it's fake, like fake energy, like a fake confidence, or if he really feels like that. He got that camp life hair. His shit look crazy. He waiting till the weigh-in. He getting cut backstage and shit. Yeah, he's going to get his haircut for the fight. I hope. I hope he cuts his hair for the fight. You got that Geico caveman. You You better cut that shit. All right, Mario Munoz. They won't leave me alone about this. You in the hot seat. Didn't like out of 60 boxing experts, only 4 had it for Canelo. So just because people write for boxing doesn't make them experts. I, unlike you, go to the fights and I sit next to people and I listen to how they score fights and what they have to say. And just because you write doesn't mean you know boxing. What does press row have to do with it? What is how does that equate to you have actual boxing knowledge? So, okay, so you think Dan Rayfield can he even do a boxing workout? You know what I'm saying? Like, real talk. I'm just being real. Block Mario Munoz. He's playing games. I'm not playing games. You the only one playing games. Block him. I don't have time for games. He talking about, oh yeah, I didn't like 60 boxing expert. What makes them expert? Again, this is what I'm saying. I'm not saying I'm the expert of all experts, but guess what? I show face. I meet and greet and talk to fans. People know who I am. Some of these writers, they're really just a name. You know, you just know the name. I mean, the bigger ones, you know who they are. You know, like the big wig writers, you know who they are. But there's people that the fucking Robert Frost, you know, Kenneth Johnston, Braxton Hartnebrig. You don't know who they are. You just know they write for a publication or a website or something. So what makes them an expert? I'm not gonna say any names, but I go to boxing websites from time to time and I read some of what they're saying in their breakdowns, and I'm like, damn, they don't know shit. It'd be like, AJ should have turned down 50 million, and his best win next to Klitschko was Dominique Brazil, you know, and they saying whatever they want to say. So who wants the hot seat? It says, yo, Ego, I saw you saying Crawford had faced better opposition than Lomachenko. That's not entirely true. The guy said Lomachenko's opposition was way superior to Crawford, and I said that's false. So what? You bringing it up? You want to debate that in the hot seat? I got room. I got room in the hot seat. Boxing finesse, is that what you want? Do you want to debate that in the hot seat? Do you want to explain how Lomachenko with 11 fights, he said the guy had better wins than Crawford by basically by a long shot. So, is that what you're trying to? So you want to do the hot seat? Okay. So, all right. What is Lomachenko's best wins to you? These dudes don't ever learn. All right. So rank Lomachenko's best wins, or just name a few of them. You know, you don't even have to put them in order. It don't matter. So you're trying to argue Lomachenko's 11 fights because he said he had better wins. He has 12 fights total, but one's a loss, so you can't even consider that. Okay, so okay, I expected this. All right, this is his list. Lomachenko's phenomenal wins are Rigondeaux, who moved up 2 weight classes, factually. Linares, who had been stopped before. Walters, who was on a year-plus layoff and was coming off a draw to Jason Sosa. Roman Martinez, who should have lost to Orlando Salido in the rematch, right? And then who else did he say? And Gary Russell, who, again, at the time Lomachenko fought him, Gary Russell, they were saying, oh, Gary Russell kills, he's the tomato can killer. I remember distinctly Gary Russell fought a Mexican cat, and his name was Tamayo, right? And people were joking at that time, saying, look, another tomato can. He even got a guy with a similar name, Tamayo. So people were actually roasting Gary Russell because he was getting praise from HBO because Heyman fighters were on HBO. See, I go way back with this shit. And they were saying he hadn't fought nobody. So I just went off the top of my dome, everyone you said, and named factual things that were happening at the time Lomachenko fought all of them, right? So I just went through your whole roster. You said that's the best win, right? Now do what I just did and tell me, like, Felix Diaz, Yuriorkis Gamboa, Jeff Horn, Julius Ndongo, right? These names that I'm mentioning, and tell me that, go through the list and tell me that, oh, he was coming off a loss, or this guy hadn't fought anybody, or this guy, Victor Postal. So it's your turn. I just said all facts about where they were at the time when they fought Lomachenko. Off the top of my dome. See how they try to redirect? He said, okay, who has Crawford faced that is top 10 pound for pound? Strike one. I just went through your whole list of names and told you what was happening with each fighter's career off the top of my head. I just named several fighters for you, so you do the same thing. Say like, oh, Jeff Horn, he was coming off a loss. Or Jeff Horn, he hadn't fought no one, which we'll know you're talking bullshit because he had fought at least Pacquiao and beat him. So it's your turn. You thought it was going to be easy, right? You thought this was going to be easy, huh? I'm telling you, it's much easier to say what you're thinking than to explain what you're thinking. Hello, are you thinking or what? So was Gamboa coming up? So Gamboa didn't have any good wins at the time Crawford fought him? Resume wise, I'm talking about whole resume. Was he coming off a long layoff? Like, I mean, go. I'm not trying to help you. You tell me. I said all factual things about everyone that Lomachenko fought. Where are you at, Boxing Finesse? Did Gamboa, people say Gamboa is so little for Crawford, but he didn't have to move up 2 weight classes, and he was a known puncher. He didn't have to move up 2 weight classes like Rigondeaux. And he was a gold medalist like Rigondeaux. He just didn't have 2. And he had, I'm looking at on his box rec right now. He had Darlis Perez was at 134 3/4, so 135. So he did have a fight before Crawford at the 135 mark, and a lot of the other fights were at like 27, 30, shit like that. So, where's he at? Fair point. Strike 2. They were in good form. However, Horn, Ndongo, and Diaz were not the level of Rigondeaux, Linares, and Walters. Also, Diaz lost to Peterson. You really are struggling right now because Diaz lost on paper, right? It's not just about losing. He lost on paper, but a lot of people thought he won that fight. So you're really going to say a controversial loss. So now we got to get you. So you want to talk about losses. Okay. Orlando Salido, when he fought Lomachenko, let's see. Salido had a record of 41-12-2. And this man beat Lomachenko. So he had double-digit losses, since you want to talk about losses. Okay. Roman Martinez had a record of 29-2-3 at the time he fought Lomachenko. He had lost by knockout to Mikey Garcia. Knockout. And he had lost to Ricky Burns. So what are we really talking about? I mean, you got to do something, baby. So what are you talking about? Saying you want to talk losses, right? You're the one to talk. You wanted to talk losses. Let's talk losses. Okay. Jorge Linares had a record of 44-3. Not bad, but he had been stopped, like I told you. He got stopped by Sergio Thompson. I already told you. He got stopped in 2 fights back to back. He got stopped by Antonio DeMarco, and then he got stopped by Sergio Thompson, right? And he had another stoppage, Juan Carlos Salgado. So before Lomachenko even faced him, he had 3 losses, all 3 by stoppage. But you're saying that these guys, don't get it wrong, Linares is a good fighter, but he had 3. Listen, he had 3 Okay, hold on. See how they blame me? Hold on, this is getting good. Why does Ego refuse to admit he picked Rigondeaux to beat Loma? I just said on this telecast that I picked Rigondeaux to beat him. How do I refuse? Strike 4, I think you're on, for lying. Has anyone ever heard me deny that I picked Rigondeaux? We'll let the fans interact. Has anyone ever heard me deny that I just said it on today's live stream? I don't know if it was this one or the one earlier. Has anyone ever heard me say that I never said Rigondeaux beat Lomachenko? Because he just lied on me. He just said that I won't admit that Rigondeaux, I picked him to beat Lomachenko. And I said it on a stream today, whether it was this one or the earlier one. I know I said it. Okay. So you're a liar. Look at the fans. The fans heard me say it. See, Real Brother 32, he was on the stream. He said, yeah, you just admitted that earlier. Strike 4. You got to do something, baby. Once again, Jorge Linares, at the time he fought Lomachenko, he had 3 losses. All 3 were by knockout. By knockout. I never made no excuse that my prediction was wrong with Rigondeaux. I never did. You know, I never denied and said, oh, Rigondeaux really won. I didn't say none of that. So you're lying. 4 strikes. So Linares had 3 stoppage losses before he fought Lomachenko. And then his Lomachenko loss. So basically Linares lost 4 times. All 4 times he lost has been by stoppage. Meanwhile, Terence Crawford became undisputed at 140 pounds. And immediately upon doing that, he got rid of all the belts, leaving way for champions like Jose Ramirez to come about and Regis Prograis to come about and the World Boxing Super Series to come about. And he did the noble thing. He moved up. He said, you know what, I'm going to fight someone at 147. He moves to 147, fights a guy who had, 15, 16 fights, Jeff Horn, who had beaten Manny Pacquiao. And Jeff Horn also had never been stopped before. And Jeff Horn was considered a big puncher and a rugged fighter, just awkward and ugly fighter, headbutt. And Crawford, I was at that fight, Crawford schooled him and made it look easy. Oh my God. See, listen, no matter, I just said all of that. And he says, the thing is, Loma has faced better opposition. Compare the fighter that have faced ranked in the top 10. So I'm telling you facts. You're not disputing any of the facts, but you still keep saying what you want to say. And at the end of the day, Lomachenko's list is this big. Crawford has 30 plus fights. And you, listen, I wasn't even talking about Lomachenko or Terence Crawford. You wanted this. You're the one that asked for this. You're the one, hey, I heard you said this, and you picked a fight with me. Eric Leon, I'm going to put you in the hot seat next. He said Pacquiao should have got the win versus Horn. Okay, so some people said Felix Diaz should have got the win versus Lamont Peterson, but he tried to use that against me. How does that work? So I mentioned Felix Diaz as an Olympic gold medalist who Terence Crawford has beat. He said, oh, but he lost to Lamont Peterson. Now you're trying to flip it and say, hey, but Pacquiao should have gotten the win. Well, guess what? He didn't get the win. And he looked like shit in that fight. Even if you wanted to give him the win, I gave him the win. I still think he looked like shit. And they rescored it with 5 separate judges, and they still gave it to Jeff Horn. And Bob Arum, Pacquiao, his own promoter at the time, said, Jeff Horn, it was no robbery. You dudes is getting bodied. So if I bodied the first dude, Eric Leon, he can get next. No, don't back off the block. Now he said, nah, I ain't disagreeing with you. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. So Boxing Finesse, you done. If he got an L, put your L's up. I told you, one by one, I'm coming for you, all y'all. Let's debate. I'm just saying, man. No, you ain't just saying nothing. You was trying to help him. Now, I'm telling you, it's open season. We gladiators. I'm Maximus, and y'all are whatever warrior you want to be. So you said you wanted to argue that Lomachenko's resume was shitting on him, on Crawford. And you didn't do a good job of that because I started naming people. Victor Postal, he knocked out Lucas Matisse, right? Matisse had never been knocked out by anybody. Block Eric Leon. There ain't no chill over here. Lucas Matisse was knocked out for the first time. Danny Garcia didn't knock him out. Selchuk Aydin got knocked out. I think Victor Postal beat what's his name? Soto Caras too. Block Freddie Olivio. if the next person tells me to calm down when I'm in a hot seat on fire, they're going to keep getting blocked. Block Freddie Olivio. There's no I have no mercy in my soul for these dudes. He said, how do I get an L? I compared Loma's because you're not answering back. You got 4 strikes or so. And if we keep going, you're going to get more strikes. So what do you mean how? He said, how? What do you mean how? Every question I asked, you lost. Felix Diaz is an Olympic gold medalist, whether you want to acknowledge it or not. He beat Adrian Granados, who would beat Amir Imam, who gave tough fights to Sean Porter, who gave a tough fight to Adrian Broner, arguably beat him. You know, Felix Diaz holds a win over him. Anyway, the fans voted, get rid of him. What's his name? Boxing Finesse. You didn't have that much finesse. He said you invoke a lot. Hold on. Should we continue this? Hold on. Shooters, should I continue this? Is this battle still going on? Because I thought he had 4 strikes. He's saying I didn't refute any of his points. The very first thing he said, I went through the whole list of people. He said Gary Russell, Rigondeaux, and I went through where they were at in their career. What are we talking about? And then I asked him to go through the careers, and he agreed with me. The shooter's already got to him. He already got that L. Anybody else? I'm ready. I'm turned up. Let's go. You guys really have the audacity to compare someone who has 11 wins and 1 loss to Terrence Crawford, who became undisputed. Lomachenko has not even unified a division. What are we talking about? Listen, I don't know if you guys heard me. Name the division Lomachenko, as of today, has been in where he had more than 1 belt at a time. And he's an A-side or, a big fighter, so he has opportunity. I'll wait. Win. What division? He's been in 3 divisions? What division was he in where he had more than 1 belt? Because we're comparing him to Crawford, right? Hello? When is he unified? If he fights Pedraza, that'll be the first time that I know of that he's unified. Exactly. See, they don't answer the questions. Y'all lucky there ain't no money. Like, this is not no game show with money at stake. Y'all would be feeling all types of ways, because I would take y'all money if this was a real game show, Crawford had all the belts in his division. There was no one at 140 that could say I'm the man over Crawford at that point in time. And the other thing, we're talking about pound for pound. I've seen Crawford on several occasions, right? On several occasions, be the smaller man. He's getting ready to fight Jose Benavidez. Again, he's going to be the smaller man. He's going to be a smaller man. This is a guy, decorated amateur. Him and his brother fight. Obviously, his brother had the thing with the cocaine, so that's not, a good look for the family name right now. But, they're good fighters. Jose Benavidez. Again, he's going to be the shorter man. Julius Ndongo, the shorter man. Julius Ndongo knocked out his Crawford's mandatory, Troy Yanavsky. And he went to Ricky Burns' backyard in Scotland or whatever and beat him up convincingly, right? And he was much bigger. I was at that fight. Much bigger than Crawford. Victor Posto, much bigger. A lot of times, to be honest, when Lomachenko's fighting guys, up until Jorge Lanada's about, they were at best equal in size or smaller. Up until his last fight, which he got knocked down in, name somebody that was significantly bigger than Lomachenko that you would consider a puncher. I'll wait for that. Name somebody who had a good finish, a good puncher with a good stoppage on their record before fighting Lomachenko that was bigger than him. Up until Jorge Lanada's. Hello? Is my mic working? Testing, testing. See, and then they say I'm hating, but you guys aren't answering the question. Oh, yeah. I like that, Josh. Joshua said, forget bigger. What about active? Gary Russell was not bigger than Lomachenko. Try again. New media. Let's go. Like, okay, for example, we're talking pound for pound. Canelo just went in with the guy who's the #1 middleweight, right? Who's bigger than him, longer reach than him, a notable puncher, and he beat him. And he did a number on Golovkin's face and pushed him back in a method and had Golovkin post-fight looking in a way that we haven't seen Golovkin look. You know, that deserves a lot of, and instead of crediting him for that, you guys, a lot of people are hating and saying it was a robbery or whatever, right? So he holds a win at least over someone who's bigger than him. And he moved up with, you know, he took one fight before doing that. Nicholas Walters and what's the name was about equal in height, to be honest, you know, to be fair. But hey, what do I know? Let's do some new media investigative work, shall we? Lomachenko was pretty big at that previous weight class. Boom. Boom. What are we talking about, people? See? We new media over here. We just pull it up. That's all we do. We just pull it up. Pull it up one time. And you have to excuse the beanie because the beanie don't count. You know, the fact that somebody's wearing a big-ass beanie. Look at where their eyes are. You know, it looks like he's slightly taller than him, you know. So what are we talking about? Someone said Nicholas Walters. So Nicholas Walters wasn't bigger. Look, I don't know if that's a better view. So he don't look bigger at all, you know, minus obviously a beanie. Like, look at the top of his head. That would pretty much, you know, they look about the same, to be honest. You know, look. Look at, he looks like he has a good width to him. And most importantly, Top Rank kept him active. Top Rank kept him active. They didn't keep Walters active. You know, they had a negotiation in the summer, and then they had a negotiation in the summer. It didn't work out. And then they never gave Walters a tune-up or anything. But Lomachenko was fighting Rocky Martinez or some shit. So he got, you know, he got time to be active, but Walters didn't. You know, see, I know what people want shit to be even so bad, even if the facts show what it really is, you know, they still want you to, oh no, but why you're not giving them credit? I'm going off of what we're looking at, what we see. Here. Is there a size disparity? I mean, this is what I'm saying. When I bring this up, they get mad at me. But look, I mean, who's the bigger man? I picked, yes, even though I knew Lomachenko would be bigger, I still picked Rigondeaux. I mean, I made my prediction before because you notice they didn't do a press conference for this, so I never even seen them face off until fight week. But either way, I picked Rigondeaux, and I was wrong. I thought Rigondeaux had fought bigger men, so I thought he would put on a different performance, you know. But, I mean, it doesn't change the fact that there was an inherent height differential. You know, that's not making excuses. That's what we can clearly see. I mean, see, this is what they do. You're making excuses. I'm not making excuses. I didn't bet on the fight. I didn't lose no money, you know. My channel didn't fold or anything like that. So I'm not mad. I'm not mad at all. But you could clearly see he's bigger, you know. So it's like, what are we talking about? And this is the thing. I'm not saying Lomachenko's not good. I do think he's good. I think he has skill. But people are quick to nitpick the black channels. You know, they're quick to nitpick certain people, we'll say, in their resume. But you got to look at things. There's little, especially Top Rank, because they've been in the business for a while. They have a very good matchmaker, you know, where they'll match people. And, like, you know, you just see the names. Like, oh, Lomachenko and Nicholas Walters. It sounds great. It sounds great. But at the end of the day, you have to look at the facts. Walters was coming off a long layoff where they gained a lot of weight. And I'm sure Top Rank matchmakers knew that because I had pictures of it, you know. And at the end of the day, he was on a long layoff coming off of a draw. This is all factual stuff that I could show you, that I can prove, you know. These are facts. And then, you know, you ever heard, oh, so-and-so caught so-and-so at the right time? Hold on, y'all. I'll pull it up for y'all. I have all of this. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know why these dudes try to do this to me. You know? Like, I don't have receipts. I always have receipts. Always have my receipts. Sometimes it takes a little bit for me to find it. Hold on 1 second, y'all. I will find it for you guys. Because that's what we do over here in New Media. I don't have to lie, falsify. We're going to show you what it really is. Make sure y'all smash the like button, people. Man, I'm loving these live streams. The live stream get to that action. Smash the like button if y'all want to see what Nicholas Walters looked like before the, you know, and once again, oh, you're hating ego. I'm hating because I'm showing you what was going on at the time. Okay, I'll take that, you know. If y'all want to see the old ego Weight Watchers I did, smash the like button. And can I get a hell yeah? Can I get a hell yeah in the comment section? I'll show you. This is a legit picture of Nicholas Walters in between the Jason Sosa draw and him fighting Lomachenko in November of that particular year. If you guys want to see it, can I get a hell yeah in the comment section? You know, I need more energy than that. I feel like you guys are sleeping. This is not fabricated, not documented. This is Nicholas Walters, because I did a video about it, people. Look. This is him on the left was him in the Donaire fight. I did a video about this whole thing. That's what I'm saying. That's why I know. That's why New Media. I always got receipts. This is him on the left in front of, like on the fight week of the Donaire fight, so you can see how he looks in, you know, fight form. This right here was him in between the Jason Sosa draw and Lomachenko. So he definitely let himself balloon up for sure, which I'm not blaming Lomachenko for that, but they did, Top Rank did keep Lomachenko active and they didn't give him a fight. And he's clearly bigger, so he probably just had a fat camp, to be honest. Which would clearly explain why we've never ever seen him again, I don't think. Has he ever fought? Has he fought after the Lomachenko fight? I mean, he was showing promise. He knocked out Donaire and Vic Darchinyan. We've never seen him come back, you know? And it was probably the shittiest performance, you know, in recent memory for a fight that was anticipated, because, you know, people wanted to see it because, like, oh, Nicholas Walters got power, he's a good fighter, you know. So I mean, do you really think he was in pristine? But again, you don't think the Top Rank matchmakers knew this? How do I have the picture, but you don't think Top Rank, and he was signed with Top Rank at the time, you don't think they know what their fighters looking like in their off season? I mean, he looked huge. He looked huge. You know, so I put everything in perspective when I'm talking about pound for pound. So yes, that's cool. You beat him, Nicholas Walters, good name. You know, it looks good, but I look at all things considered. Like, for, let's say Canelo versus let's say Canelo versus Triple G. You can't say, oh, Triple G he was undefeated, you know, so there's nothing you could really say about Triple G, you know, because, you know, they looked at a video from the promo shoot in like February or something and said he looked fat, but months later you seen, you know, he was in shape. And he's never, you know, he's not like the most diesel dude anyway, but Walters don't normally look that big. So basically he got starved out, no opportunity to fight. And then Lomachenko caught him, you know, got him. Floyd Mayweather talked about this too. Man, I got so much evidence. I don't even know where the video's at. You guys better hope I can't find it. But Floyd Mayweather he was talking about, someone brought up Tank and Lomachenko. And Floyd brought up the same thing after I had already said it, talking about how basically Top Rank, you know, they knew what they were doing, and they fought Lomachenko, fought against Nicholas Walters because it would look good on his resume, but they also caught him when he was slipping, like, you know, and didn't give him no fights. Made sure he was, you know, the Black Channel made sure he wasn't active, and they made sure Lomachenko was active. See, listen, I got another picture. Listen, I told you, I got receipts. Everything I do, I got receipts. Who want it? Look, I got another receipt for y'all. See, that's the benefit of, you know, being self-made and all this on YouTube. Because, you know, this is another one. This is what he was looking. This is right before, you know, in between the months before the Lomachenko fight happened. This is the shape he was in. See? And you see how it's all my logo on it and shit? Because I did the video. You know, the man was out of shape. He probably had a fat camp. Like I said, this is probably why we never see him come back since, you know. But I'm telling you how these matchmakers and promoters work. They try to catch people slipping if they can. If there's a guy like, okay, put it this way. We'll use Golden Boy. Gary Russell also said he had to lose 5 pounds the day before because the scale used with his strength and conditioning coach was off the whole camp. So he probably had to kill himself. You know, and I'm not making I don't want to make a bunch of excuses, but I mean, these are real life scenarios, like at least some of it. But I heard Gary Russell said he had, you know, basically had to kill himself to make weight, you know, and then that's his error. So if the scale was wrong, I mean, that's something he did on his part, right? But look at it like this. I'll use Golden Boy. Ryan Garcia is a fighter on Golden Boy that, you know, 1 million plus followers and whatnot. Do you think they're going to give him 2 weeks notice to fight? Like say, hey, you got 2 weeks, prepare for this fight. Not knowing where he's at. You know, let's say he's like I seen he was in Hawaii or something. So he's fighting, let's say at 35, and he could be, let's say 158 because he's just on vacation. Do you think they're going to do that? Do you think they're going to give him 2 weeks notice? But his opponent, they probably would, you know, because they're trying. Again, this is what happens in boxing. We know it. We know the game. They're trying to build up Ryan Garcia, so they don't care if the opponent has little notice. That, if anything, that benefits them. That benefits him that the opponent, you know, doesn't get a full camp. Just like Vanes Martirosyan, another example. Golovkin didn't fail no drug test. He was already in camp for Canelo, right? So he had a full proper training camp. You know, there was a little, I guess, a delay doing a press conference or something like that, trying to figure out what was going on with Canelo. But for all intents and purposes, he had a full training camp. Vanes Martirosyan is the one that got called last minute. They say, hey, we're trying to save the date. You've been on the couch 2.5 years. Boom. Fight us at the StubHub. Right? Because obviously Golovkin is the star. They don't give, they're not tripping about Vanes Martirosyan. That's why they picked that, because they don't want to ruin the Canelo fight, because that's the money fight. So they're not going to put that's why they didn't fight Derevyanchenko. I mean, it's common sense, people. Why would you fight, like, from a business perspective? I'm not saying from a fan perspective, but why would you fight Derevyanchenko, who could have Golovkin looking bad, or, possibly basically Derevyanchenko has a lot better chance to dethrone Triple G at that time than Vanes Martirosyan did, because he had been more active. He's a big puncher, amateur pedigree. That's why they were willing to get stripped, because they didn't want nothing getting in the way of their money fight. And so that's a common practice, where a promoter will, do something in the benefit of the fighter that they're trying to build, or their cash cow or whatever. They would never give Canelo 2 weeks to prepare for a fight, but they could give, if Canelo's opponent pulled out, they would, instead of canceling it, they'll find someone 2 weeks just to replace it, and boom, that guy got 2 weeks to get it right. That's just the way of the world. So Lomachenko's someone that Top Rank put a lot of energy and effort and money behind. So, they don't care if Nicholas Walters is fat and, if he gets a tune-up in between, because Lomachenko is the one they're trying to, build up. It's common sense, people. At 122, all Leo Santa Cruz fought was guys on 2 weeks' notice. I mean, yeah, they're not going to take stars and put them at the disadvantage. You'll never see that, unless that fighter's bout it, like Wilder maybe, because Wilder was supposed to fight that Polish dude and they replaced it with Gerald Washington, so stylistically, Gerald Washington gave some good rounds to Wilder. He didn't care because he knows he has freakish power. But more often than not, they're not going to put the star at the disadvantage. Y'all want to talk about Wilder Fury? They're talking about the fight might happen at the Staples Center. It's lit. California love. A California love. The Staples Center. That's interesting. I'm in California, so this is music to my ears. Staples Center. I went for Mikey Garcia. That's actually the first fight I covered at the Staples Center. Mikey Garcia versus Robert Easter recently. That shit was lit. Luis Ortiz was there too. He was on the card. I like that. If they can, generate the type of money that is worth. I think they can, because Vegas is a tourist town and whatnot. But at the same time, Las Vegas is. Do you guys here peep this? I live in Northern California. I live in the Bay Area, right? It takes, a lot of people don't know this about California. It takes me, I live in California in the Bay Area. It would take me longer to drive to LA than it does for someone who lives in Las Vegas to drive to LA, vice versa. If you're driving from LA to Vegas or Vegas to LA, it's a shorter distance than me driving from Northern California to Southern California. That's how big California is. Nevada and LA, or Vegas and LA, happen to be closer than the Bay Area, California. It's crazy, right? So, like, if I drive to LA, if it's especially if there's no accident, because if there's an accident on the Grapevine, you fucked, because that's gonna, that's going to add some time to you. But if I leave at the right time, like at night, like I usually do, I get to LA in 6 hours, 6.5 hours, because I usually stop for gas one time, 6 to 6.5 hours. The fastest I've ever made it to LA, and I left at a late at night, and I was smashed, and I think I was in a rental, and I was like I was like on some Night Rider shit or something, Fast and the Furious. I live my life a quarter mile at a time. I was smashed, and the fastest I've ever made it to LA, I think I got there in like 5 hours and 15 minutes. No, I would fly. Hell yeah. I hate the drive. Well, see, you got to look at what I do, because you have to get credentialed to a fight, you know? So if I go to a fight, like I can't go with people per se, like drive up, unless they're just going and like buying tickets, because if they're not getting credentialed, then, you know, why are they going to drive with me? So I would fly. I hate that drive. The drive is really bad, driving by yourself, because there's nothing. It smells like shit. There's a slaughterhouse over there and it smells like manure. Driving by yourself is not the business. And when I was younger, I did it so much. It's annoying. You know, 6.5 hours, dolo. I don't know. I'm not a driver like that. You know, traffic. I don't know. I get on that plane. Plane tickets are usually reasonable, and it only takes 45 minutes to an hour. I'm good with that. Yeah, I didn't get no speeding ticket, but yeah, and that's the other thing. I'm not worried. I'm not trying to worry about that. But yeah, to get to Vegas from LA, vice versa, takes about 4 hours and 20 minutes, 4:20, 4.5. For me, it would take about 6.5. So, you know, another 2 hours. I don't like driving like long distances like that. I don't know about some of you guys. Some of you guys drive trucks and stuff. You guys tell me you listen to my channel. I'm not a driver like that, you know. Long distance. I guess it's cool if you had like a family or, you know, people in the car with you, but I'll be tired before I even get to the press conference or whatever. I don't know if it's postponed or when they're going to do it, you know. I don't know, but I heard they're trying to do it at the Staples Center, which is lit, especially for me. I didn't see that coming. I thought it would be in probably Vegas, most likely. But that just goes to show you the Staples Center must have made a big push for that fight. LA got a lot of boxing fans. That's a good one. That's a good fight. You know, I do and I don't. I feel damn Q Ruffin said he driving right now 6 hours straight. Yeah, man, be safe. Keep your eyes on the road. Stop if you need to. You know, get some caffeine. Stop at a gas station or something if you need to. Boxing is cracking though. I like that fight a lot. You know, in a way, I almost feel bad for Joshua Povetkin, because it is like, did y'all know it was the media day workout? Fight week workout? I didn't even watch it. You know, I've just been doing my own thing live and running errands. Yeah, Jesse Vargas Delorme is in Chicago. Who watched it? I'm just curious. Joshua Povetkin Media Day workout from today. Who watched the videos? Yes or no? Oh, the media workout was super short? Man. He said, wow, I damn near forgot AJ was fighting this weekend. It don't feel like, you know, like I was at Porter Garcia, so that felt like a fight week for me. And then Canelo, you know, towards the end, it started feeling like a fight week, you know, especially with the weigh-in and shit. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see how Joshua, how he handles this, because I'm telling you, like, weird shit be happening in boxing. You know, like all these, you can't like try to manifest what's gonna happen. Like that's why, you know, 82,000 tickets sold apparently. I doubt it. I mean, they could say they sold, but see, listen, the UK, they're real, or at least Eddie Hearn or whatever, they're real secretive about it. You know what I'm saying? So what's the total growth? You know, what's the live gate that it did? If you really sold that much, you know, they probably gave away and, like, you know, had tickets for the low and stuff like that. Like, I know. I already know how the game goes. They want the appearance of it looking like crazy and lit. So I promise you, they probably had bundles and let some of them tickets go for the low. You know, just to encourage as many people to get there as possible. Like, their initial price points, I'm sure, did not hold up. You know, then buy one ticket, get one free, and, you know, just little stuff like that. Because they want to keep this appearance, but, like, of Joshua being this, like, mega superstar. But I don't know, man. I just think they handled the Wilder situation all wrong. And then it's literally, with new media around, it's literally the combination of the worst things that have happened for Joshua. I mean, from here, the next thing, the worst thing will happen if Joshua loses. He cannot lose. Like, if he looks bad, it's going to be bad. But if he actually loses, like fair and square, or gets stopped, I'm telling you, because if Povetkin knocks you out, you know, it's going to, I just know how boxing fans work. If Povetkin knocks you out, people are going to say, this is why he didn't want to fight Wilder. It's too easy. It's too easy of a transition. So he has to look sharp. He has to look good in this and make a statement, in my opinion. Even if it's like a Klitschko type of war, where he's not, like, controlling him with the jab and he getting knocked down and hurt, and, you know, it's looking like it's the end for him, that wouldn't be good. And I'm not trying to be harsh, because I know Deontay Wilder had a tough fight like that this year, but it's based on who you're fighting. We all know Luis King Kong Ortiz is super sharp, and he took on a tough test. So no one's mad. It's just like Canelo Triple G was a good fight, the rematch. Nobody's mad that it was, like, close or competitive. You expect that. But nobody wanted to see you fight Povetkin, you know? And Povetkin, to be honest, hasn't fought anyone as of lately that is upper echelon, to the point where, you know, if he's getting off on you and knocking you down or anything like that, it's not going to be a good look. I'm trying to tell y'all. Someone said Povetkin is Canelo's height. I'm done. Povetkin is, he's a dangerous fight for sure. But, you know, like, you have to look at public opinion. A lot of people, minus some, like, delusional people or people who refuse, like, oh, this is my country, man, I'll never go against my country, shit like that. A lot of people are under the impression Joshua avoided Wilder. Joshua is perceived as a heavy favorite versus Povetkin. When Wilder fought Luis Ortiz, I know a lot of people that picked Luis Ortiz because they said Wilder was too windmill and he was too sloppy. I know a lot of people that thought Luis Ortiz would win. You know, like Andre Durrell's cousin. I did an interview with him, Leon Lawson. And he's a fighter too, so check out his career. He's friends with Joey Spencer and everything. He swore up and down Luis Ortiz was going to get it, you know, that he was going to beat him. So I know a lot of people that picked Luis Ortiz. Not that many people are picking Povetkin. You know, same thing like Canelo Golovkin. A lot of people pick Canelo to win. A lot of people pick Golovkin to win. So if the fight, in fact, is competitive, you know, the perception is not going to be like, whoa. But when you go in there with someone that people expect you to blow out or blow away or look good against, and then you don't look good against, then, you know, like Amir Khan versus Samuel Vargas. If you watch that fight, I don't think Khan looked good. So that wasn't a good fight, because he was, like, in essence, struggling with the guy that had been stopped by Danny Garcia and Errol Spence. People are looking at the big fights, like Wilder Fury winner for Joshua, or maybe even a Dillian White rematch. So if he gets derailed by Povetkin, they'll be like, what the fuck? So, yeah, I think Povetkin presents a danger, but the perception is that, you know, like, we're talking about a guy who's 6'6" versus a guy who's like 6'2". We're talking about a guy who just unified with Joseph Parker, fought a mandatory, and before that fought Klitschko and beat him by stoppage, versus a guy who lost to Klitschko, got knocked down a couple of times, failed 2 drug tests, was inactive, dropped from the rankings, and since he's come back, he hasn't really done anything. So, yeah, Povetkin has nothing to lose, and he's dangerous if he's at his best. But what has he really done to even be in this position right now? You know, it'd be one thing if he worked his way back into the division, but he didn't. He just, you know, picked up where he left off after failing drug tests. You know, and he was generously put in the rankings. Meanwhile, Luis Ortiz was left out of the WBA rankings. Do you get what I'm saying? So, the perception is that Joshua can't lose this fight. So Povetkin does. Like, who has Povetkin beat since the failed drug test and suspension? I'll wait. You know, maybe you guys know something I don't. Who has Povetkin beat? Please let me know that. Since he got suspended, who has Povetkin fought or beat? Since he was supposed to fight Wilder and that fight fell out because of the meldonium, and then he failed another drug test. Who's he beat? Okay, I'm looking right now. You know what? I got y'all. Hold on. I got y'all. Chill, yeah, yo, I got this. Fighting Joshua. He knocked out David Price in 2018. And David Price had 4 knockout losses up to that point. He beat in 2017 Christian Hammer. In 2017, he beat Andre Rudenko 31-2. Christian Hammer was 22-4. And when the Bermane-Stavern fight got canceled, he fought Johan Duhaupas and knocked him out, who had already been knocked out by Deontay Wilder in 2016. So he hasn't even had that many fights, and none of these fights are like high caliber. Duhaupas, after Wilder knocked him out. Christian Hammer, you know, multiple losses. David Price, 4 stoppage losses, 2 to Tony Thompson, 1 to Erkan Tepper. You know, it's like it didn't even make sense for him to even be ranked so highly, in my opinion, for this fight. But hey, that's who they had ranked. So yeah, he hasn't fought anyone. So if he puts on a tour de force performance, it just means he just got up for this particular fight. But it's been a good minute since he's fought like he hasn't fought anyone as good as Klitschko or near even anything close ever since Klitschko. You know, Johan Duhaupas coming off a Wilder knockout and Christian Hammer. I mean, that's not really championship caliber people. We have a question. It says, Ego, is it just me or people who get KO'd by Wilder or hit by Wilder for a long period lose their chin after the fight? Like their chin is never the same again. No, that definitely isn't you. That's the thing. It's because, like Bermane-Stavern. Bermane-Stavern had a chin, you know. Wilder goes 12 with him. Then that was in January. See how I know this stuff off the top of my head? Anyway, Wilder fought for the title against Bermane-Stavern in January of the year that they fought. And Bermane-Stavern survived and went 12 rounds. Then Stavern had one more fight that year in December against Derek Rossi, and he got knocked down in that fight. He did survive and got back up. So he's getting knocked down by a guy like Derek Rossi. You know, I really think that's because of Wilder, you know, a sustained beating for 12 rounds. He took some hard shots, you know. It's like a windshield or something. You can't just keep chipping away and going through wars and shit. People hitting that hard, you know, your sensitivity gets tweaked. And then when Wilder fought him in the rematch, they both threatened to kill each other. And then, you know, Wilder literally almost killed him the way he was knocking him out and shit. You know, Johan Duhaupas, he didn't get knocked out. He was tough, durable, didn't get knocked out for the 11th round. And then I think he lost he lost one other time, and then he lost to Povetkin. So, yeah, I mean, that's what happens. You fought. You can't just, you're not, nobody's skull is meant for blunt force trauma for a prolonged period of time. You know, that's why the people that usually end up dying in comas and shit, or just going into comas, it's not one single shot knockout. It's the people who get beat and hit with hard shots, and then your brain starts to swell, and then they keep getting beat. You know, your brain starts hemorrhaging and shit like that. Like Magomed Abdusalamov when he fought Mike Perez. You know, Pacquiao, I'm not saying it's good to get knocked out clean, but, you know, Pacquiao, when he fought Marquez, it was just, wow, Pacquiao's out, lights out. There's no sustained trauma. You know, you just have to recover from that. Magomed Abdusalamov is getting hit, bow, and he's so tough that he keeps taking it. And he's just bow, you know, just getting pounded. Like, you know, it's like, you ever see one of the really violent, like, World Star fights, and somebody's fighting, and then the guy gets knocked out, and he's clearly on the ground, and somebody's just like, bow, and, like, and just punching them, and their body's just, like, lifeless? That's not good, you know, because you're already out, and then someone's just hitting you repeatedly with excessive blows. You know, that's how people really get hurt. So even if someone's conscious, your brain shifts and shit, you know. So you can't take a prolonged beating like that. That's why people develop slurs and, you know, pockets in their mouth and shit, you know. Like, you know, like Brandon Rios, like he's a fun fighter and stuff, but his style, that's why I tell people you have to be mindful of your defense. Abel Sanchez he's promoting Mexican style. Like I said, we might not see the same Golovkin ever again. I really feel like that. Mildred Taylor, another example. You know, your head, okay, like Golovkin, if his confidence is chipped, he doesn't have a defense to the point where his style is going to give him longevity. I can't see Golovkin fighting when he's 42, you know, unless he just picks around. What does Dominic Wade have to do with anything? What are you talking about? Y'all be asking some weird shit, man. What does Dominic Wade have to do with him? I don't know where he's at. Why are you asking me? We talking about sustained beatings. Y'all talking about Dominic Wade. Where did that even come from? I'm like, yeah, you can't take a sustained beating. Punky Brewster. Like, what the fuck? What are you even talking about? What you got on my toaster strudel? Like, y'all got some real life Tourette. Where did Dominic Wade come from? Dominique Dawes. Like, who? The gymnast? Yeah. What about Dominique Dawes? Steven Seagal, Chuck Norris. What the fuck are you even talking about? Hey, Steven Seagal used to be like, anybody seen Richie? I'm looking for Richie. He'd be going into the bar and fucking everybody up in the bar. I'm looking for Richie. Anybody seen Richie? Jadon, you've been putting casual comment after casual comment. Please stop, because I will have to get you. He says Luis Ortiz is good, but his resume is pure garbage. I have to get you, bro. Like, in the hot seat. Just chill a little bit. Just enjoy the stream. Damn, Hamza clapped him. Listen, stop saying people's resume is pure garbage when you know fighters are ducking them. How about that? If Anthony Joshua didn't take the money route and fight Klitschko and he fought as mandatory, then Luis Ortiz would have the opportunity before Wilder to promote himself. You know, He would have the opportunity to prove himself, I guess is a better way to put it. You know what I mean? But if people don't give him the opportunities and the promoters don't give him the opportunity, then how do you expect it? You've seen him step up with Wilder because Al Heyman actually, you know, put his champion in there with a tough fight, even though they say Al Heyman is the devil and cherry pick mismatches. But Al Heyman somehow released his #1 heavyweight and allowed him to fight this boogeyman. But whatever, I digress. You know, and you've seen how well he fought for himself. So why didn't Joshua ever fight Luis Ortiz? Okay, you took the money fight. Okay, I would probably take big money too. Why don't you fight him after that? You know, why don't you ever fight him? Why are you not talking about fighting him now? Yeah, I mean, you guys know. You know why. Politics. So, they do the same thing. And a lot of times it's with the dark-skinned fighter, black fighters and shit. Like, the Black Channel. Like, who is Charlo really be? I mean, who's Charlo? Okay, put Triple G in there with Charlo. You guys said he was robbed. Put Triple G and Charlo in the ring together. Let him earn it. He's screaming Lions only. Golovkin screaming good boy. So let's see it. That's a good fight. You said Golovkin was robbed. The only thing missing is a belt. So Golovkin lost some leverage by not having a belt. So now you're back level playing field with the other guys in the playground. If not, Charlo, he has a name for himself and he's undefeated. So he might have something above you now. So let's see Triple G versus Charlo. But y'all don't want to push for that because y'all don't want to see that. Let's see Canelo versus Charlo. You guys are content with David Lemieux getting a shot, who got thoroughly outboxed on more than one occasion, and he's been stopped before. David Lemieux got probably like 4 losses or something. Charlo has none. Why don't you make Charlo Canelo in Texas? Instead, you have Bernard Hopkins telling us every reason why Charlo shouldn't get a shot right now. But David Lemieux deserves a shot because he's with Golden Boy and because that's a more manageable fight. Canelo just has to stay mindful of his defense and deal with Lemieux's power, not get hit flush. But he has a speed advantage, youth advantage, shit like that. So stop it. Luis Ortiz, who's he beat? Did Joshua give him the opportunity? Did Joseph Parker give him the opportunity? I can't even say Wilder because he did give him the opportunity. But when Joseph Parker was champion, if Joseph Parker said, hey, I'm not fuck Hughie Fury, I'm fighting Luis Ortiz, then I would have picked Luis Ortiz to win. But if people avoid him, just stop. Look at Rigondeaux. You don't think he could have beat Abner Mares when he had a belt, Carl Frampton, Leo Santa Cruz? He couldn't beat none of them. He was never given the opportunity. The person that gave him opportunity happened to be 2 divisions higher than him with the name, and that was Vasyl Lomachenko, a guy with equal experience, 2 gold medals. You know what I mean? So people do this. They try to, who is Errol Spence beat? He's trying to fight Keith Thurman. He's been trying to fight Danny Garcia, Sean Porter. So why are we going to act like, play the role like Errol Spence is not out for blood and trying to prove himself? Who's he beat? Same thing with Crawford. Why didn't they make Crawford Mikey Garcia? Why didn't Pacquiao fight Terrence Crawford? Politics. They gave the Pacquiao fight to Jeff Horn. But they just want to say, who's Crawford beat? Well, he could have beat Pacquiao after Pacquiao fought Jesse Vargas and was a champion. But guess what? They didn't want to put Pacquiao in there. They rather take this to Australia and give some random Australian with 15 fights or so an opportunity. And he capitalized. And then Crawford got him. But he didn't get Pacquiao. Listen, this is a stream. I got to rest my voice. Appreciate you guys. Smash the like button. Holla at the kid. We just working. A little bit of easy work. Peace out.